So now what we want to do is we want to alter these master components and add some text layers to populate this with data. Make this a little bit bigger and then make the top frame, and we're just gonna call this image. And then we're gonna change the fill to image. And then I already prepared some images here, and then I'm gonna choose the ceviche. I will put this on the description. And just like that, the master component has duplicated all the photos. But on top of that, what I want to do is I want to allow others to override these components. So I do that by selecting the master and check marking the item here. That is telling Framer to make this photo overridable. So let's see, if we select this, we can choose from a different, so I'm just gonna select the photo. So, but I want the ceviche to go first, so I'm just gonna swap them. And then, so this is how we're overriding. The same thing you can do with text. So I'm just gonna type in here recipe name. So by default, Framer will detect that there's a text layer, but it doesn't let it be overridable by default. And the reason for that is because sometimes you have so many elements. So here, right now, the only thing overridable is the image. But if we select that, now you can change the recipe name. And then the other one could be, I have them all written down. So, Pam. And then I want to create another text layer that's going to be probably the duration. I still have to change, because I duplicated this text layer, it doesn't automatically have a name of duration, so I have to put it here. And this text is what it will detect on this section. This text layer duration is what it will pass here as a property, and that will become the label duration of the content you put in here. So it could be 15 minutes. It's a little intense. Okay, and then just right away I know that I want to make the recipe name a little bit bolder, maybe a little bit bigger. The duration, just to create some contrast, maybe it's gonna be like 14. Okay, so far so good. The next thing we're gonna do is, this is where people save their recipes. So let's say we want to also make this frame the image. I'm selecting the blue and then I'm gonna change the thing. Then I'm also allowed it to be an image, and I'm just gonna choose the same ceviche image because it's so good. And then we're gonna make it a little smaller. Yeah, something around this size. And then it's probably gonna be a square. Grab their text layer by pressing T. I'm just gonna also have recipe name. Cool. And then for here, because these are going to be ingredients, this is gonna be like ingredient. That seems a little bit massive for just an ingredient, so I'm just gonna make it a little bit smaller. Perhaps we're gonna duplicate this layer and make it quantity. So far so good. And then we're going to allow to be overridable. Okay, so we have recipe, and then did I allow it? No, so we also need to allow here to be overridable. So I'm just gonna spend a little bit of time kind of overriding these guys. So far we have added some content. Right away, I think what I want to do is change the color of these to perhaps a white, and I'm going to add a shadow. So here, maybe a little bit like this. Just gonna preview it. I'm gonna lock this here. Perhaps I'm gonna, and the feet, I'm gonna adjust the gap a little bit. And so if we add that, if we change the shadow a little bit more, and then reduce the transparency of the shadow to 12%, it starts being like a little bit softer. But we want to add a border, light border, to kind of just have it there as a little bit of a contrast so we can see the car. Then I think I need a header. So what I will do here, so I'll bring it down a little bit. I'm gonna create one component over here, and it's going to be around perhaps 60 height. I want to make it white. I'm gonna give it also a shadow, a blur of 20. We're gonna have a little bit more elevated. So almost immediately I will take it out of here. I will make it full white. I will rename it top bar, and then I'm gonna make it a component by right clicking, create component, and I'm gonna bring it back. I'm holding Alt and dragging, and so I grab the instance of that. Then I'm gonna make my scroll just underneath. Then I'm gonna bring down the scroll from this one, and as well I'm gonna bring this guy here. So, and the same thing goes for this. Make another duplicate by copying and pasting. So right now, if I add some sort of header, what will happen is that it will appear everywhere, right? So I'm just gonna call, for now I'm just gonna call it a screen name because I don't want to think about this. But now I'm gonna make it also overwritable. Bam. And so when I come over here, I'm just gonna call this nothing for now, because I want to put my logo there, and then I'm gonna put saved. I'm gonna put, and then on the last one it's gonna be. So these are the items that you will. I also want to fix this. So you see how these are weird different lists. So I do want to copy the style of this. I do want to copy this style of this little line underneath. So I just come to the master components. I copy style. I bring it to this component. I right click it. I paste style. So it will add the line, but we still have the gap from the action list. So I come over here to the stack, action list stack, and then I'll reduce the gap to 0. And now I have my list. I would actually make this master component a little bit smaller, because right now 70 seems like a little bit intense. So now I'm kind of maybe in 56, and all of these are kind of readjusting. I want to also do the same thing that I did on the main frame. I'm gonna make it white just because I feel like it's more classy than these font colors. Then so far so good. And then for this, because the logo is gonna be a little bit different, I just want to put the logo here. So I just made this duplicate have no overrides, so it's just empty, and then I'm placing the logo on top of it, just separated. But we're in a good place to pause. On the next video, I'll teach you how to share and how to get feedback. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.